Test Review 2.1, Pythagorean Theorem. Like last time, we're going to go through a few of the examples. You can look up the rest of it on the key on Canvas. So the first one we're going to talk about is number 1. It says squares are constructed using 3 sides of a triangle as shown below. If the 2 legs of the right triangle are 5 centimeters and 12 centimeters, what is the area of the largest square? Make sure that you're labeling everything that you're given and you know what it's asking for. So we know we were given the 2 legs are 5 centimeters and 12 centimeters. So I'm going to label those. This leg is 5 and this leg is 12. Remember, the legs are the 2 sides that form your right angle. Okay? And what are we looking for? We're looking for the area of the largest shape. So we're looking for this entire space. I don't want to know what that side length is yet. I need to know that entire area. So to do that, we have a right triangle. We're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem says that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's basically telling you the area of each of these 2 smaller squares will add together and give you the area of the larger square. So we have 5 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. 5 squared is 25. 12 squared is 144 equals c squared. And 25 plus 144 is 169 equals c squared. That is the end, because it's asking me what is the area. This side length is c, so if I'm finding the area of this square, it would be c times c, which is c squared. So I know my area is 169, and you're finished. Let's look at number 4. Number 4. The right triangle shown below is formed by joining 3 squares at their vertices. What is the value of x, the side length of the bottom square? So we need to figure out what information we know and figure out how to solve it using Pythagorean theorem. I know that this side right here is my hypotenuse. It is the one that is across from my right angle. So I can plug in my information. We have, and I know that this side length right here is 12 because this is a square. So this side is 12, and I'm looking for x. So let's plug in. We know that my hypotenuse is here, which is c, and c squared is 400. They already told me the area. So if I use a squared, or I'm sorry, I know my hypotenuse. So I'm going to use c squared minus a squared equals b squared. I know that my hypotenuse is the area of that square is 400. But if I find the square root of 400, I get 20, and I could plug that in for c, and then 20 squared is 400. So that work's already done for you. So let's leave it at 400 minus a squared is 12, so 12 squared. So 400 minus 12 squared is 144 equals b squared. And 400 minus 144 is 256. And let's double check. Is it asking me for the area or is it asking me for the side length? So I go back. It says, what is the value of x, the side length of the bottom square? So I have to keep going. I need to figure out what the side length is. So I need to keep solving for b. So I'm going to square root both sides. And the square root of 256 is 16. So my side length that I am missing is 16. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Let's move on to number 8 at the bottom. It says, find the height of an equilateral triangle using the Pythagorean theorem if each side measures 6 centimeters. Note, the height bisects the bottom side of your triangle. So that information is given to you. We have an equilateral triangle. That means that all sides are equal at 6. I'm I'm going to label that. And then it tells you the height, how tall my triangle is, bisects the bottom side of your triangle. So that forms, when it bisects, that forms your right angle down here. Okay? And I want to know what this height is. So I'm going to look at this as a right triangle now. And I know that this is my hypotenuse. So my hypotenuse is 6. And the side length, I need to know what this is. It told me that it bisects it. And when it tells you that it bisects, that means it's cutting it in half. So this would be 3, and this side over here would be 3. All right, so now I can use the Pythagorean theorem to solve that. Since I know the hypotenuse, I'm going to use c squared minus a squared equals b squared. C squared is 6 squared minus 3 squared equals b squared. 6 squared is 36. 3 squared is 9. 36 minus 9 is 27 equals b squared. Find the square root of that, and it's approximately 5.2. Okay, so I can plug that in here to my triangle. 5.2 is the height. So that's our answer to the first one, A. What is the height of the triangle? B asks you what the perimeter of your triangle is, so you're asking what the distance around the outside is. That would be 6 plus 6 plus 6, which equals 18. And I think it's in centimeters. Yes, centimeters. And then what is the area of a triangle? So you need to remember your formula. Area equals base times height divided by 2. Or you can use the one area equals 1/2 base times the height. It means the same thing. So whichever method you want to plug in there. Okay, and we know the base of our triangle is 6 times the height of our triangle is 5.2 divided by 2. I'm going to simplify 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 times 5.2 is 15.6 centimeters squared. So in order to figure out, if you weren't given that information to find the height, you know now that you can use Pythagorean theorem to figure that out. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at number 11. Number 11 says, a string of decorative lights is strung from the top of the fence post that is 4 feet tall on the top of a flagpole that is 16 feet tall. The fence post is 9 feet from the flagpole. What is the total length of the string of lights? Okay, so what are we looking for? We're looking for the total length of the string. That part is right here, this decorative light. That's what we're looking for. Okay. We need to figure out some of the other important information. So it's told us that the fence post over here is 4 feet tall. And it also told us that the flagpole is 16 feet tall. Okay, there's a couple of things that we need to notice here. Oh, I'm sorry. We also have the fence post that is 9 feet from the flagpole. Down here, we've got your 9 feet. There's a couple of things that we need to notice. We need to notice that the decorative lights is not going all the way to the floor. It is only going to the fence. So if you draw a line right here, we can form our right triangle. Okay, using that information, I know that the distance from the fence to the flagpole is 9. Okay, and I also need to figure out now my triangle, the distance or the height of this flagpole needs to change because I'm not going all the way down to the ground. So 16 minus the 4 feet of the fence post is 12. So the height on this side of your right triangle is 12. From there, you've got your Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And I'm using this formula because I'm looking for my hypotenuse. That's the one that I do not know. So we have 9 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. 9 squared is 81. 12 squared is 144 equals c squared. 81 plus 144 is 225 equals c squared, square root both sides, and c is 15. All right, let's look at number 12. Rectangle ABCD is shown on the coordinate grid below. What is the distance from point A to point C? Okay, so I need to know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the point A to C. So if I were to draw a line from A to C, I'm looking for that distance. Okay, this looks like a right triangle. If you made an angle right here, since it's on a coordinate plane, we can figure out what these distances are from A to D. If you count your lines on your coordinate plane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down here is 7, and if you're counting from D to C, 1, 2, 3, 4. Since we're looking for our hypotenuse, we're going to use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We have 7 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. 7 squared is 49 plus 4 squared is 16. And 49 plus 16 is 65. Square root both sides. And c equals approximately 8.1. All right, the rest of these are, the key is on Canvas. Good luck on your test.